Grace and peace to you, beloved. My name is Albert Starr. My personal pronouns are he, him, and his. And there's one thing that I've learned and relearned, or learned again and again in this pandemic season, is that the words of that old song of the church are very true. The time is filled with swift transitions, and that no one on this earth is left unmoved. And so the song goes on to remind us and to encourage us to build our hopes on things eternal and to hold on to God's unchanging hand. Building our life on things eternal, holding on to God's unchanging hands. This is all language that talks about holding on to our faith and making faith real. Making faith real, not just for ourselves, but making faith real, giving evidence of that grace and that compassion of Jesus Christ through what we say and what we do, how we choose to invest ourselves. And so we want to make sure that we extend our thanks and our gratitude to this Synod and to ministries of that Synod, because we've been hearing about you. We heard about Peace in Memphis, and we say thank you to Peace in Memphis, a ministry of this Synod, who's distributed 142 bags of groceries during this pandemic season and more than 112 hygiene bags to local incarcerated women, making real the love and the grace, compassion of Jesus Christ. We heard about it. We want to say thank you to Atonement in Atlanta, another ministry of this Synod. After handing out food bags all day long, bags of food all morning, there was a man who came and simply asked for shoes. The shoes that he was wearing were completely worn out. The president of the congregation had him to try on her sneakers right there on the spot, but they were too small. Very quickly, one of the deacons of the Synod of the congregation came over, had the man try on his shoes, and they fit well. And so that man walked away from there with evidence of the grace of God, evidence of the love and the compassion of Jesus Christ on his feet. The president of the congregation, Atonement, and then that deacon were standing there on the parking lot in their bare feet. Their bare feet, though, were evidence of what it means to respond even in the midst of swift transitions and changes that demand of us the kind of grace and mercy that God has shown. We heard about Rock of Ages and Stone Mountain and say thank you. Thank you to the ministry there. Rock of Ages is serving a primarily African refugee community, serving more than 100,000 meals over the last 10 years, but wanting to do so much more because they see the need. They see the need, and so they want to provide health screenings for families and clothing and school supplies for children, because this is how we make real the compassion of Jesus Christ, holding on to God's unchanging hands. We heard about it. We want to say thank you to the Table, a ministry in Nashville, primarily with LGBTQIA plus ministry that has been intentionally dealing with and attending to and making room and conscious space for addressing the mental health challenges that are exacerbated in this pandemic time. But these are dynamics that are facing so many of our young adults, continuously so. Time is filled with swift transitions. There, gathered by Grace in Montgomery, again, we want to say thank you. Gathered in Grace has been providing financial assistance to people there in the community, assisting where there's a need for help with rent or paying the utilities, providing child care, and just being the constant presence of support and prayer And when they take on the work of passing out masks and water bottles in the community, bottles of water in the community, they also engage in voter education and registration there at the intersection of poverty and systemic racism. Time is filled with swift transitions. That old song is very, very true. But all transitions, swift transitions, are not bad or not disruptive or not destructive. The COVID-19, the ELCA Churchwide COVID-19 response was able to provide more than $1.8 million in grants, quick response grants to synods who are engaging ministries and supporting ministries there in their local place of service. And this synod has been a part of distributing those COVID-19 grants, along with domestic hunger grants and Lutheran disaster response grants. That this synod, this Southeastern Synod, has contributed to. The time and the energy and talents that you've invested are all a reflection of the generosity of this synod that has led you to provide some $972,262, or 50% of your mission support to the work of Churchwide, along with synods from all across this ELCA, totaling at some more than $40 million to support the work that we collectively do as the ELCA through our Churchwide organization. And we'd not be able to do that if it were not for you. And so we say thank you. Thank you for being a partners in helping to continually demonstrate what holding on to God's unchanging hand looks like. To demonstrate that even in the most brutal of swift transitions, we are not defined by our problems, but defined by the love that gives us life and identity. That's ours, meaningfulness that is ours through Jesus Christ, the Son of God. Your stories are echoed, Southeastern Synod. Your stories are echoed from all across the synods, all across this church. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Bishop Strickland and Synod staff. Thank you, Southeastern Synod. Blessings and peace be with you. The grace of God continue to be with you as you continue in assembly. Be well.